Minister of Romy speaks with a heavy heart about the challenging times ahead. Vice President of the St. Martin Christian Council says church services can be seen online. But first up, Interim Director at the St. Martin Mental Health Foundation worried about the care of patients. Those are the headlines for Thursday, April the 9th, Holy Thursday, 2020. This is SXM Daily News. I'm Valerie Van Putten. Now for the details. Interim Director at the St. Martin Mental Health Foundation, Eileen Healy, is concerned that COVID-19 will have an impact on the organization. We are really trying hard to deal as best we can with the situation, she told PGD2's news department, adding that the ideal situation is when staff or therapists can sit one-on-one with the patient, which presently is very difficult. According to Ms. Healy, they are trying as much as possible to support the Prime Minister in her effort. However, they realize that the number of COVID-19 patients on St. Martin at the moment is relatively high. She also said that the 4 ambulance care nurses have a caseload of about 150 to 200 patients. In further expounding, the St. Martin mental health official said that before the lockdown, individually, the medical professionals contacted their individual group in an effort to have effective communication with the clientele. While the mental health professionals will not be visiting patients this week or next week, according to Eileen Healy, they will have to go out in the fields to check on the mental health patients.
We are trying as much as possible to support our Prime Minister in her efforts because we realize the amount of COVID patients on St. Martin at the moment is relatively high. So what we try to do is to do as much as possible via our mobile availabilities, our phone lines. What we as an organization have done is for instance, our ambulance care nurses, they have a caseload of about 150 to 200 patients. Before the lockdown, they contacted each nurse contacted her group or his group, and they have phone contact now as much as possible. For this week, we had told all the patients we will not be doing home visits, we will not be out in the community, only for emergencies. And then next week, we have to go out because we have to check their medication, we have to check some of them need injections. So all of that is organized and we are taking care of it. What I want to mention as well is our staff is doing a tremendous job. It is also hard for the staff because they are used to visiting the patients, meeting them one-on-one, and just calling and you can't always reach them, it's hard. But it's the best we can do under these circumstances. Then our admission department is open. We are not admitting patients at the moment, but the patients that are there, we're still sending to. The staff is working on shifts. Some staff members are even working 16 hours to avoid being on the road as much as possible. Our crisis is available. Crisis admission is available, but we have agreed with the team to try as much as possible. If we can stabilize the crisis in the community, we will do that. We're trying to avoid admission as much as possible. The day treatment is closed, but we have permission to deliver their meals because they were getting a warm meal and a sandwich from us daily. That's more than 20 clients. We're attending to them as well. We deliver food around 12 o'clock, a hot meal, and we hand them their sandwich for later in the day. For the clients, it's also very difficult. A lot of clients are used to their daily rhythm, and it's all messed up. They don't understand, some of them, why can't I go to mental health anymore during the day and be there and be kept busy. We do a lot of sports with the clients. We do a lot of physical activity, but also, training. We help them finding jobs, which will be extremely difficult. And those things they understand. Some of our clients that already had jobs also lost their jobs. So the staff is having a hard time managing and, trying to keep everybody manageable, to put it like that. We just opened the 311 toll-free line, so to be free those off for anybody to call in. So even if they're not a patient of mental health, they are welcome to call in. That line is open from 8 till 5. It's manned by our professionals. We're taking turns manning it. As back, we have psychologists manning the line, our social psychiatric nurse, our regular nurses, mentors of clients are on that line. It's 100% confidential. As backup, we have our 2 psychiatrists in case, the therapist feels that the person calling needs more help than just a conversation. That backup is also available. Mm-hmm. So, we're working hard. We're out there as much as possible under these circumstances. What we try to do is keep our staff safe. So we try not to send them out on the road. We try not to, have face-to-face contact as much as possible, which is hard in psychiatry. It really is for both the therapists as the patients. We understand it, but we're doing what we can considering the circumstances.
And as we continue now with more news, work on the Hospitainer continued as equipment consisting of a military ICU facility, which was in the process of being assembled by the Marines and the Fire Department. The so-called Hospitainer will house 6 fully equipped ICU beds with 6 additional ventilators to be used within the compound of St. Martin Medical Center. These additional 6 spaces at the St. Martin Medical Center are intended for the COVID-19 patients of St. Martin. Over the weekend, a C-17 military transport aircraft arrived on the island, bringing in much-needed medical equipment and supplies from the Netherlands. The consignment also included 6 intensive care beds, including the medical equipment, personal protective equipment, PPEs, COVID-19 testing kits, intensive care unit ICU medicine, and COVID-19 medication to treat COVID-19 patients. And still to come, Director General of the WHO reflects on the first 100 days of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
And as we continue now with more news, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, director of the World Health Organization, has reflected on how dramatically the world has changed within a short period of time. In the last 100 days of the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19, Dr. Ghebreyesus gives a breakdown of the virus in an overview of what was done within the first 100 days.
It's incredible to reflect on how dramatically the world has changed in such a short period of time. Today, I would like to give an overview of what WHO has done in the past 100 days and what we will be doing in the near future to alleviate suffering and save lives. On the 1st of January, just hours after we were notified of the first cases, WHO activated its incident management support team to coordinate our response at headquarters, regional, and country level. On the 5th of January, WHO officially notified all member states of this new outbreak and published a disease outbreak news on our website. On the 10th of January, we issued a comprehensive package of guidance to countries on how to detect, test, and manage potential cases and protect health workers. On the same day, we convened our strategic and technical advisory group on infectious hazards to review the situation. We have been engaging with journalists since the beginning, responding to media inquiries around the clock. We convened the emergency committee on the 22nd of January, and again a week later, after the first cases of human-to-human transmission were reported outside China, and declared a public health emergency of international concern, our highest level of alarm. At the time, there were 98 cases outside China and no deaths. In February, an international team of experts from Canada, China, Germany, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Nigeria, the Russian Federation, Singapore, and the United States of America visited affected provinces in China to learn more about the virus, the outbreak and the response, and to glean lessons for the rest of the world. In early February, the United Nations Crisis Management Team was activated after we discussed with Secretary General Antonio Guterres to coordinate the entire machinery of the UN to support countries as effectively as possible. Since then, we have been working day and night in 5 key areas. First, we have worked to support countries in building their capacity to prepare and respond. Through WHO's network of 6 regional offices and 150 country offices, we have worked closely with governments around the world to prepare their health systems for COVID-19 and to respond when cases arrive. We issued a strategic preparedness and response plan, which identified the major actions countries need to take and the resources needed to carry them out. Governments and partners rose to the challenge. More than $800 million has been pledged or received for the response. That includes more than $140 million from more than 229,000 individuals and organizations raised through the Solidarity Response Fund, exceeding all our expectations and showing the true solidarity globally. I would like to thank all donors for their support, including Apple for its contribution of $10 million.
Minister of Romy Ekbodoran, speaking at the virtual weekly Council of Ministers press briefing, addressed the community with an extremely heavy heart. He felt compelled to address the people about the challenging times and the measures that, unfortunately, will have to be taken. However, he wants the community to continue to keep the faith.
Today I speak to you with an extremely heavy heart. Even though the AOC has been activated a while back and the Prime Minister has the main lead as far as it pertains to this worldwide pandemic, myself, as your elected official, now serving you as a member of the Council of Ministers, felt compelled to once more address and encourage the people of this nation during these very difficult times that we are in. Ever since late 2019, with the outbreak of the COVID-19, all of lives have changed. All of our lives have changed. Things are not the same as they were. As a matter of fact, to be quite frank, things may never be the same again for many of us. Together with the entire world, St. Martin is also going through some extremely challenging times. These crucial times call for stringent measures to be taken These measures are pleasing to some and not pleasing to others. We have seen a disruption of schools, businesses, social life, and eventually the lockdown of the country, all in an attempt to safeguard the well-being of our people. Today, despite the inconveniences that we've been going through, I wish to encourage my people to continue to keep the faith. Continue to exercise vigilance in all your undertakings, and together let us all strive to decrease and eventually eradicate the spread of this life-threatening virus. The authorities will do their part by sharing all the information necessary, but ultimately, each and every one of us as citizens have our obligation and have our role to play in this. I urge you to follow the official instructions that are presented to you on a daily basis, especially in regards to personal hygiene and social distancing. I encourage you, everyone, by whatever means you can, to adhere to all and maintain the healthy distance and in the quest to stay healthy during this difficult time. Avoid receiving any unnecessary visitors to your home at this time. Do not worry, they will understand. Make sure to stay in close contact with your family and friends and check in on them as often as you can, especially those that are living alone, whether they are young or elderly. Encourage persons that you must remain in contact with who are not part of your household not to visit, but not to make use of the various means, but to make use of the various means of communication, for instance, WhatsApp, video calls, and all the other means that are available. For the workplace, continue to practice video conferencing as we are doing now in this first virtual meeting. Allow your employees to work from home as a safe distance. I know that without a doubt, this can be extremely stressful for persons that are normally very active and now have to remain at home with limited physical activity. You are encouraged to pick up some new hobbies, like for instance, watching movies, planting in your garden, cooking together, really bonding with your family in this time. Do not stay cooped up in the house, on the couch, but ensure that you get enough sunlight each day. Additionally, practice a healthy diet, do regular exercise, and drink a lot of water. Avoid sharing useless, fake, discouraging posts, but make a decision with sources that you want to follow in order to ensure that you are properly updated and informed through a reliable and official source, especially during these uncertain times. Many persons are sharing their suggestions and remedies online. Although many of the suggestions are very natural and may make sense, I'm encouraging you to be very mindful and not follow every suggestion and remedy that you see online, as some things could be detrimental to your health. What works for one does not necessarily work for another, so be careful. Today, I wish to thank those that we call our frontliners. You are the true heroes through all of this. You make great sacrifices many times, putting your lives on the line as you work tirelessly to ensure that the population is safe, secured, and taken care of. Thank you, thank you, thank you, especially to our medical staff as well, who risk their lives every day. I also like to thank the EOC headed by the Prime Minister of St. Martin and my fellow colleague ministers for their role that they are playing during these difficult times.
Now turning to our weather forecast for April the 9th, 2020. A weak pressure gradient will continue to generate light to moderate winds across the region. Lingering moisture associated with the remnants of a shear line may cause a few showers. A high surf advisory is in effect for St. Martin, as long period swells are expected for the surrounding waters throughout the next 24 to 36 hours. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise caution. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Vice President of the St. Martin Council of Churches says Easter services can be seen online. We'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of Web Mobile Banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
And as we continue now with the news, this is the time of year when many congregations throughout the world will be holding a series of services leading up to Good Friday, to be followed by Easter Sunday Mass and services. And on St. Martin, this is no exception. However, as a result of the impact of the coronavirus pandemic COVID-19, many of the island's churches have resorted to using various online media platforms to reach out to their followers. One of the organizations also making use of social media is the various churches associated with the St. Martin Christian Council of Churches. Vice President of the organization is Mr. Wally Harverton.
The Council of Churches, all the churches that are members of the Christian Council, of course, are having their services online. So that's not a problem. Nobody is really missing out. The only thing that you're not being, you're gathered in one place all together. But you are able, with modern technology today, all the churches have their services. Like for instance, every Sunday, they would have their services. And now, starting today, Thursday, what we call Holy Thursday, we start with the Tradim. Tradim is a Holy Thursday. It's Friday. Friday is called Good Friday. Then you have Holy Saturday, and then, of course, you have then. Easter Sunday. So that those services continue online. So everybody is really following the service, those everything you can follow. You can follow the preaching. You can follow the readings. Which is very good. Technology has really given the churches the opportunity to still continue doing their thing, and. There is the only difference is that you're not physically present, in wherever the service is. Mm-hmm. But other than that, the ministers and the priests and everybody, they're doing their thing, with the help of course those that are in this modern technology today, that you can even on your phone you can follow the service, or on your computer. You can be part of with us in the Catholic Church, for instance. You can be part of the Mass. You can be Methodist. You can be part of the service, Anglican, Moravian, as well as Salvation Army. Those are the members of the Christian Council, and we all have our services. So that is a very, very good thing. That we should keep in touch. And also our diocese, we could follow. And we can follow still also the services of the bishop, that the bishop will be having. Mm-hmm. Also, the churches have been sending out various messages, to their congregations, based on what we are facing today. The coronavirus, but also in particular, what we need to do in relation to serving God, rather than technology, rather than all of this thing. What people think that now, they can rule the world without God, and that's not the point. Mm. You see, so that's why it's a message we're getting, and we have to take heed. Mm. We have to take heed of that message which we're getting, and that's why I'm very particular about that.
And still to come, hospital admissions for COVID-19 cases have gone down in the Netherlands. I'll have the details of that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
admission department is basically where we hold clients that needs help with themselves, as in a crisis or non-crisis. A crisis situation could be a loved one or any one of the family member can call us saying, hey, the person acting in such a way, we need help. If the person is being admitted, they will be incarcerated by the police, yes. From there, you'll be admitted to the crisis room. The crisis room now will give you an independent stay by yourself with the guidance of our nurses.
And how was the process for you of being admitted here? How was that experience?
It was good. They talked to me polite. They never cursed me off because I was smoking marijuana. I used to be addicted to that thing. Made me motivate me.
Yeah.
They give me my freedom to look for my jobs and stuff like that.
When we find or the doctor finds that you're stable enough, then we move you down to our admission ward, where you'll be among other clients and to mingle with the nurses even more. That's where we say we regain back, piece by piece, we bring it back to the reality of what you gotta deal with to see if you will handle the pressure that comes with everyday living.
And also, I'm going to school.
Oh, school?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Not only job, it's also school. So I stopped smoking marijuana and I stopped drinking alcohol. This has been years I haven't touched that.
Impressive.
Very strong.
Yeah, yeah, you are.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, in COVID-19 related news out of the Netherlands, Dutch hospital admissions for coronavirus have gone down, returning to their March 23rd level. According to new figures from the Public Health Institute, RIVM, in total, 237 more patients have been admitted to hospitals compared with 308 in Wednesday's briefing, the figures show. The official death toll rose by 148, one up on Wednesday, which takes the total number of people now who have died of coronavirus to 2,396. The figure only includes people who have been tested for the disease. The number of positive tests rose by 1,213 to 21,762 as the Netherlands widens its testing net to include more healthcare workers. Intensive care officials will say later on Thursday if the number of people being treated on intensive care wards is continuing to decline. There was a marginal drop on Wednesday as few new patients were admitted to IC that were discharged. In total, 1,356 people are now being treated in IC wards in the Netherlands, and a further 52 are in hospital in Germany, according to Wednesday's figures from the National Coordination Center. We would appear to be stabilizing, Kuiper said. However, there could be no talk of relaxing the current strict rules on social distancing until the number of corona patients in IC wards had dropped below 1,000, he said. This, he said, will not happen within the next 2 weeks. The government has extended the intelligent lockdown until April 28th, but has declined to say if this should be extended again on April the 21st. Earlier figures show that the average stay of a corona patient in an IC ward is 23 days, the release reads in part. And with that item, we've come to the end of the SXM Daily News edition for this evening. Just a reminder that we will not be on the air tomorrow, Good Friday, or on Easter Monday. So we want you to thank you for being here with us, but also remind you to have a very safe Easter weekend, and please adhere to the rules and regulations. I am Valerie Van Putten. Just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of SXM Daily News, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again on Tuesday. Have a blessed Easter weekend.